Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into this truly wild story of devotion, faith, and a journey that almost defies belief. We're exploring the life of Jagadīśa Paṇḍita, the saint who literally carried God home.
But before we get into all that, I want to ask you something. How do we remember a great soul? Do we build monuments? Do we just tell stories? Or is it something deeper? Just let that sit with you for a bit as we explore a very different way of remembering. So in the Vaishnava tradition, which is a path focused on the worship of Vishnu, the day a saint leaves this world isn't seen as a time for sadness. They call it a disappearance day. And get this, it's not about grief at all. It's actually a celebration. It's seen as the moment that soul finally gets to reunite with the divine. It's a day for joy, and this idea is really central to the story we're telling today. All right, so who is this person at the heart of the celebration? Let's meet Jagadīśa Paṇḍita. And our story kicks off in this really sacred place in Bengal called Śrī Mayapur. Now, Jagadīśa Paṇḍita, he wasn't some king or a famous warrior. Nope, he was a family man, living right next door to the family of Lord Chaitanya, a major figure in this tradition. He and his wife, Dukini Devi, were known for one thing above all else, their profound, unwavering love for the divine. In fact, the ancient texts give him this huge title, Savior of the World. And why? Simply because of the sheer power of his love. That's it. And well, that incredible love, it was about to be put to a pretty strange test. This first story is all about a moment where pure devotion had to go head-to-head with the rules. Okay, so picture this. It's Ekadashi, a sacred day of observance. And here's the thing you have to know about Ekadashi. Everyone, and I mean everyone, fasts from grains. No rice, no exceptions. This isn't some casual suggestion, right? It's a huge deal, a core spiritual practice. So on this specific day, the little kid next door, a boy named Nimai, who followers see as the young Lord Chaitanya himself, just starts crying. And he will not stop. I mean, they tried everything, nothing worked. And then, out of nowhere, this little kid makes this totally shocking demand. He says, if you don't want me to die, bring me the Vishnu prasada from Jagadīsa's house. Now, prasada is basically a blessed food offering. And the offering Jagadīsa had made for his deity that day, yep, it had rice in it. The one thing, the only thing nobody was supposed to be eating. So what does Jagadīsa do? He doesn't even blink. He knew this wasn't just some kid having a meltdown. He saw something divine behind the request. He just gladly hands over the whole offering, understanding that real devotion sometimes means you have to look past the rules. And this is such a perfect example of how, in this tradition, love is seen as a force that can be more powerful than even the most sacred regulations. Okay, so if that story was about faith, this next one, well, it takes things to a completely different level. This is the story of how a deity, a physical form of God, literally picked out his own home, kicking off a journey that is just miraculous. So Jagadīśa is visiting this huge, famous temple in Puri. And when it's time for him to go home, he feels this gut-wrenching separation from the deity there, Lord Jagannatha. That same night, Lord Jagannatha shows up in his dream with a simple instruction: take me with you. Okay, this slide breaks down how this whole miracle went down. It's amazing. So step one, it all starts with that intense love from Jagadīsa, right? That feeling is so strong, it triggers this divine promise in a dream. Then you get to the practical stuff. How on earth do you carry a giant wooden deity? Well, Lord Jagannatha promises to become super, super light, so light he could be carried in a simple cloth bag for the whole 600-kilometer journey. But there was a catch, a big one. The first place Jagadīsa put him down, that's where he would stay. Forever. So after that unbelievable journey, Jagadīsa takes a break, puts the bag down, and bam! The deity instantly becomes impossibly heavy again, choosing that exact spot in the village of Yasura as his new home. Okay, let's just stop and think about that number. 600 kilometers. That's like walking from New York City all the way to Cleveland, or from London to Edinburgh, on foot. Carrying what he believed to be God in a bag. The level of commitment is just staggering. So what's the legacy of all this? What's left behind from these incredible acts of faith? Let's take a look at how this story is still alive today. This table really lays it all out. That very same Jagannatha deity he carried, it's still there, being worshipped in a temple right on that spot in Yasura. They still hold huge festivals every year to celebrate his life and disappearance day. And those special food offerings, the Malsa Bhoga, yep, that's still a thing too. It's incredible. His personal devotion kicked off traditions that have lasted for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And there's another really sweet piece to this legacy. See, when Lord Chaitanya eventually had to leave the area, Jagadīsa's wife, Dukini, was just devastated. So to help her, he gave her this special deity of himself called Gaura Gopala. It was his promise that he would always be with her in that form. And that deity is still in the temple today, right alongside Lord Jagannatha. It's just this beautiful symbol of divine compassion.
There's this amazing line from one of the sacred texts that just perfectly captures who Jagadīśa Paṇḍita was. It says his love wasn't just for him. It was something that poured out of him like rain from a thick cloud, just giving life to everyone and everything around him.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? What's the point of this whole story? It really boils down to this one powerful idea. These stories are trying to tell us that the divine, which has everything, right, is hungry for one thing, the pure, genuine love of its followers. And Jagadīsa's life is held up as the ultimate example of this, that God will literally bend the rules, travel hundreds of miles, and become light as a feather, all just to accept the love of one single devoted person.
And that kind of brings us full circle. Look, the story of Jagadīśa Paṇḍita it's an incredible story of faith from a totally different era. But it does leave us with a really interesting question for our own lives. In our world, with all the deadlines and notifications and constant distractions, what would a powerful, all-in devotion like that even look like? What does that idea mean for us right now?